My presentation today will be on why books shouldn't be banned. Controversial books are being challenged every day on whether they should be removed and not taught in schools. Many of the books include racial issues, damaging lifestyles, sex, violence, religion, and witchcraft, and according to a contributing writer for The Artifice in 2019 in the article, Why Books Shouldn't Be Banned. Before I begin, I wanted to define what the difference between a challenged book and a banned book. A challenged book, according to the same author, is books that have been challenged to be banned, and a banned book is the book that's been actually removed. Many of the books are challenged because parents have come forward to say that these books are too inappropriate for the audience to read. Books have been challenged in some states, banned include To Kill a Mockingbird, 13 Reasons Why, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, The True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, and the Harry Potter series. Books should not be banned because they bring light to issues and topics that are happening in the real world. According to Grosvenor in the article Why Books Shouldn't Be Banned in 2017, many of the books include racism, sexual content, and other social issues we dealt with back then and today. Reading about these topics can offer knowledge and insight on these topics. For example, people who read To Kill a Mockingbird get insight on what the justice system is like for a person of color in the 1960s. Grosvenor mentions that many of the books include slurs and profanity because they must fit the time period, and some details need to be kept in order to keep the continuity of the time period they're set in. A perfect example of this is The Great Gatsby, which was written and published in the 1920s. According to the contributing author for The Artifice, not talking about these topics can lead to ignorance. The books create conversation about these topics that are taking place in the story. A contributing writer for The Artifice uses 13 Reasons Why as an example. 13 Reasons Why is often challenged, but it creates conversation about suicide, depression, and bullying that parents and their children might have not otherwise discussed. These are all real topics that everyone will face at some point in their life. Even if books are banned, it is not going to stop the young people from reading the book. According to the contributing writer for The Artifice, when a book is banned and a good enough reason is not given, according to the student, they are more likely to read it on their own. When a book is banned, it's usually because parents think the content is not appropriate for the students. I would like to point out that I'm not saying elementary students should be reading something that is meant for high schoolers. I am saying that high schoolers are exposed to things every day, and there's a high chance that what they're reading in those books they're not hearing for the first time. According to Grosvenor, many students find it difficult to find books that they relate to. The writer for The Artifice points out that students have pointed out that the book Catcher in the Rye is relatable and they feel representative. Regan Mahone in 2019 in the article Why Your Kids Should Read Banned Books points out that this is important to note that just because something is controversial doesn't mean that it won't be considered a classic one day. Books such as The Great Gatsby and To Kill a Mockingbird were considered very shocking when they came out, and they're considered classics today. What is published today one day might be required for our kids to read. Even though a book may seem controversial, it can still hold educational value. Reading these books helps readers better understand the world we live in and the struggles other people go through every day, according to Jordan Lane in the 2020 article, The Important Pros and Cons of Banning Books. But Mecca Mahone points out that books help them think through morality issues and allows them to build empathy for people that are not like them. Jill Anderson in 2019 in the article Bringing Controversial Books in the Classroom points out that reading these books in school gives the students a safe place for them to think through hard issues and prepares them for the real world. Just because a student reads something does not mean they're going to go do the same thing. According to Grosvenor, in my opinion, it's better to learn from the books than experience it in real life. The contributing author for The Artifice says if it weren't for banned books, there wouldn't even be a different category in the New York's bestsellers list for children's books. We can thank Harry Potter for that, which also gives more authors a chance to be at the number one spot. Just because a book holds a controversial topic does not mean that it does not need to be banned because you can actually learn very valuable lessons and learn things you may have not ever known about before.